Hi guys, it's your boy Justin. As you can see, got all gussied up for the occasion. Wonder why? Well, like the video should say, this is a review of Deathstroke issue number 45 from DC Comics. So I said that I would make a video on this, and I know it's a little late because it's already out, and it's a little past it already being out because it came out the 3rd, but still, better late than never. So let's get to it. So the opening of this comic, we start off with Rose Wilson, Ravager, or Deathstroke's daughter. I don't know if she's been referred to as Ravager yet, but if for most of the hardcore DC fans, that's Ravager, Deathstroke's daughter. So Rose, she's taken Deathstroke's quote-unquote death the hardest, and last issue we saw her talking to James Gordon, the commissioner of the DC Police, or DC Police, of Gotham City Police, basically saying that, letting him know that she's pissed off her dad is dead. And so how does she take that anger out? Well, she basically suits up in her dad's suit and goes around to honor his last contract before his death, which is not the Lazarus contract, which was the one he took out on the Teen Titans, but this other one. And so in the middle of this contract, she infiltrates the place and she basically takes out all the hired goons, lickety split. And lo and behold, she runs into Shadow, who, for those of you not in the know or who haven't seen Arrow, is the mother of Emiko Queen, current Red Arrow, who's on the Teen Titans, led by Damian, aka the current Robin, and she is yes. So Shadow is the mother of Red Arrow, who's basically an assassin. So, and she's also one of Deathstroke's competitors, as Rose herself says. And so we get a little couple frame commentary from Shadow, talking to Rose, basically telling her she should quit while she's ahead. Freeze continuing on a bit as they're both fighting their way through with Rose trying to follow Shadow through the complex. We eventually learn that Shadow has actually killed the Mark, whereas Rose hasn't. She's basically just incapacitated everybody. And so with Shadow having left, she ends up basically getting wrecked by these robots, which are able to pierce Deathstroke's icon suit. Phase out to the next scene. This time we get a little bit of we get to see what's going on with Jericho, Deathstroke's son, or Joey as he's also known. And so it turns out that Joey is in a relationship, not surprising, with this guy named Terrence. So basically that he's in there shaving and doing whatnot, making death jokes, because apparently his lover, let's say, is deaf. So they basically are having some type of a conversation through some type of app, I guess, that converts sounds or whatnot, or his mental thoughts to sound, because if I'm correct, Jericho still cannot speak because his vocals got cut out. So basically their planned evening is sort of interrupted by a call from Wintergreen telling Joey that his sister Rose is in trouble. Cut to Joey coming out, basically telling his love that he has to go. His love isn't really buying that, and basically complains that Rose and his whole family is really extremely messed up. And then to make matters worse, he pulls out the ring. Yeah, I know. I was shocked too. This man has more rings than anybody. So, with that, Jericho flies off, slightly perturbed because he's like, I don't want to give this, because he says he wants to give this life up, but he's not exactly committed yet. So, then flash forward again, we get Rose and Jericho confronting each other. They basically are not on happy terms. Jericho saying that Rose really needs to give up this obsession with their dad, Deathstroke, especially after his quote unquote death. I don't know if I'm not really sure if I'm buying that, honestly, because I mean, sure, they could 100% kill Deathstroke and then, close out the comic, but to me, I think that would be a bad move on DC's part, because Deathstroke's a little interesting, plus Defiance, which was when he had a team composed of both his kids, Tara, Power Girl, Tanya Spears, and his wife Wintergreen, and Kid Flash, I believe, was actually an interesting team, but they tore it apart, unfortunately, so Kid Flash could be on Teen Titans. Anyway, I doubt Deathstroke is really dead, truly. But Rose and Jericho are straight up convinced that he is, especially Jericho, because Jericho in the not the latest issue, but the last couple of I think it was the last issue. He told the Teen Titans about something regarding Deathstroke, and so Emiko Queen, Red Arrow, supposedly shot Deathstroke through the eye, killing him, but once again, I have my reservations about that. So anyway, in the middle of this conversation, they're attacked by robots. Now, these robots are the same ones that I said earlier that could, penetrate Deathstroke's armor and basically almost destroy it. So Rose managed to get out of it somehow the first time, but this time they attack her, and they also attack Joey. So while they're having this conversation, Rose decides to basically save Joey, but Joey is sort of pissed, and he basically tells her to leave it the hell alone, and that Shadow is manipulating Rose into going after Emiko and killing her personally. Rose, on the other hand, is like, yeah, guess what? I'll lend a hand with that death. So Jericho picks her up and is basically about to fly her back to his apartment to tell her to sit the heck down so he can just go out to dinner with his love and figure out his love life, which is pretty complicated all throughout this run, I'll tell you. But Rose has other plans and basically shoots him down out of the air with her let's call it a blaster staff. And so, of course, he doesn't die because his suit absorbs a lot of the impact, but he is injured. And so, using some type of communication device built into the suit, or maybe just into his body, he communicates with his mom, who's just getting out of a meeting with one of her bosses, basically because her department, the DCI, has basically just had their budget cuts because of the border wall. So she basically says that she's on the way. Cut scene to Jericho lying on the ground looking like he just got his behind beat by Mike Tyson in a truck. And lo and behold, the true villain, quote-unquote villain, comes out of nowhere. Lex Luthor. Now, if you don't know, DC is having an event called the Year of the Villain. I myself haven't checked it out, but part of it is that I believe Lex Luthor basically is going all across the multiverse, recruiting and/or just messing with villains for some grand scheme. And here he appears before Joey and tells him that that he's not his mom, but that he wants him to join the Legion of Doom, and he even refers to him as Deathstroke, which is sort of significant because these latest chapters are sort of about, because the last chapter was the funeral for Deathstroke, so now it's all like, who's gonna take up the mantle of Deathstroke? Personally, if anybody, I sort of would want it to be Rose myself, but I don't think that, that Joey's in the right state of mind to do it, because out of all of them, he's honestly generally happy. But who knows what could happen with DC Comics. So that is my review of number 45. Some things to say about next videos. I will probably be doing some more DC Comics, like the Terrifics and the Wildstorm, which is, Wildstorm was a comic print company that produced series like The Wildstorm, The Authority, Planetary, and Gen 13, the one that pretty much everybody knows, but it was absorbed into DC Comics, and I guess they did a series starting, I want to say it started in 2016, but basically they've been doing 2 series to sort of augment, sort of bring them back to their heyday, and I guess it's set in a sort of alternate universe where some of the main DC characters are actually like the villainous counterparts. But still, it's a great story and it should be checked out. I believe that series is coming to an end, but I think that they're planning to do some of the other works involved with the Wildstorm universe. So those are things to look forward to. But I'll be reviewing those, and I'll also be talking about the Terrifics, which is partially one of my favorite DC comics at the moment, because it's like, what they have going on at DC as of a couple years, as of 2016, I believe now, is this thing they call the New Age of Heroes at DC Comics, and it was really great. It introduced a whole list of new teams and new heroes like Damage, the Silencer, Brimstone, the Terrifics, which is really just a combination of a couple different heroes, but I particularly like it because it actually has a non-social justice warrior black male character who's not teenage, so he's not like Peter Parker or who's current Miles Morales or Static Shock, but he's still likable enough to be a good hero. So those are some things. I'll also probably be doing some anime reviews for a couple other series that I talked about in my video on what was upcoming for this series, for this season of anime, and I will also be doing probably a video on. I will actually be doing some reaction videos if I get some time, because there are some videos that I actually wanted to react to, and some requested videos too. So look forward to those too. Alright? Thanks, guys. Keep breezy.